Monday, July 6th. Hope you had a great, relaxing, and safe 4th of July weekend. This is Scouting the League. I know I ate too much across the weekend, but certainly enjoyed some time with family as well. The homestead, where I will soon be recording from, is coming along, which means plenty of sweat equity being put in there. But today it's all about football. We hit 2027 draft prospect on the offensive side of the ball, Cam Coleman, formerly of the Auburn Tigers and now a Texas Longhorn. He is going to be the player we look at. Tomorrow I talk edge Quincy Rhodes Jr. of the Arkansas Razorbacks on that defensive side. So as we get closer to kicking off the season, we will get back to a little bit more of a normal formatting with topics from across the scouting world coming Mondays, maybe Thursdays, maybe a few less profiles, or maybe we'll kick it up a gear and go more player profiles. Let me know what you want to hear of course, as always. Hour-long format Wednesday episodes here and there as we battle breaks and vacations, but Neil and I will continue to bring you guests every Wednesday as we can. If you want to hear some thoughts from the football world not hosted by me, maybe you just want to check in on all things, check out the Fields of Friendly Strife podcast brought to you by good friend Justin Schaff, a fellow former Falcon. Justin dives into all things American football as well as football, or soccer as we call it here in the States. Justin goes live every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern on YouTube. I will be a regular contributor there, so make sure you head over, give Justin a subscribe, follow him. That is the Fields of Friendly Strife podcast. If you haven't already, while you're there, give me a follow here on Scouting the League as well. YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you are listening. Give me a follow on Twitter as well. At RightStepADV is where you can find me. Check out my website at rsafootball.com. If you are an aspiring scout or a current NFL scout, make sure you check out thescoutingcommunity.com for resources from across the football world. Again, there's a lot of things that teams, organization, programs have in place. There's a lot they don't have as well. That's where I am trying to bridge some of the gap, bring scouts together to work together to improve the industry. We want scouts to be respected as highly as possible. Sometimes that means doing some hard things, polishing off the edges. Hopefully I can continue to help to do that from the outside. That's thescoutingcommunity.com. And if every pair of shoes you have need a little upgrade, get the insoles that will do just that over at bluemaca.com. Use code SCOUTING20 while you're there to let them know we sent you. Get a little discount on that order as well. The insoles with that non-slip insole, that maybe turf toe insole, arch support, plantar fascia support, these insoles will upgrade every pair of shoes you have. Again, you don't just throw on every stock pair of shoes. You want that best of the best. bluemaca.com is there for you. Check out our episode with Stuart Jenkins, CFO of Blue Maca, in the archives as well for all of that. As always, as we roll through this one, let me know what you think of Cam and who you want to hear in the future. As we get going, though, let's get some film rolling. That way, again, instead of just looking at me, you can look at some film. Cam Coleman wearing jersey number 8 for the Auburn Tigers. A true junior this fall in 2026, and the new number 1 for Arch Manning and Austin. Expect him to take that role. Flashes of excellence in Auburn over his first 2 years there, where he had 93 total receptions for 1,306 yards, averaged just over 50 a game, 13 touchdowns in his 2 years. Highly ranked recruit, excellent basketball player as well coming into Auburn. You can certainly see that. Inconsistent quarterback play. And when you start thinking about the reasons why Cam jumped in the portal, that had to have been part of it. Yes, I know Texas paid him well. I'm sure Auburn had an offer there that was very similar. So at Texas, there's going to be some high expectations. I fully expect Sark to have a great plan for him, and Arch to know that this is going to be a reliable contested catch target for him. So 4 wide receivers, a reminder of what we're going to look at. Of course, hands. You want to know how this guy's catching the ball, his releases, how is he getting off the line of scrimmage, what kind of routes is he running, is he going to be limited to a certain type, how are those routes that he is running, run after the catch. Again, we're going to talk about that, maybe a little bit of a weak spot for him, and then his blocking, of course, as well. As we start talking about Cam Coleman again, you're looking at a 6'3", 6'2", 6'3" frame, about 200 pounds. Again, looks even, looks maybe slightly lower cut, which you don't always see out of the high end players. But again, for Cam Coleman, again, doesn't inhibit him in any way. Again, you're going to have plenty of good size, maybe very good size, depending on that height metric that you put on him. A little bit more of an X wide receiver than a Z, and that really comes back to his routes. We're going to talk about that in just a second. But again, the hands, again, the first trait, got to be able to catch a ball. This guy's got very good, maybe even excellent hands. He's a soft hands catcher, plays with extension in traffic, on the sidelines, with players draped all over him. Again, that inconsistent quarterback play at Auburn certainly lent itself to, again, seeing some off-target throws, some ability to catch it outside the frame. Again, that is what Cam Coleman can do. He can catch it on the run. He does not always jump to frame it, which a lot of guys have a tendency to do. Can run through the ball, can catch it at every level with those good hands. So again, his hands very good to excellent range. Again, that is going to be his calling card. Again, we start talking about player comparisons. Tet McMillan's going to be one of those guys that come up, maybe not an elite separator. I think Cam's got maybe slightly higher upside, but again, is going to catch whatever the quarterback puts there. When we start talking about releases for Cam Coleman, again, I think they're good releases. I think he's got good initial movement. I don't think this is a natural double up, a natural shoulder through guy. I think there is some fluidity that is going to improve. I really expect that to be a jump he makes this next year. We'll talk about that in our summary. But again, I think it's at a good level right now. He's got the ability to beat press. He's big, he's long, and he's strong enough to use some muscle, use some physicality to get through the line of scrimmage. But again, there are some things that, again, just want him to be a little bit more fluid in the way he gets in and out of breaks. And that comes back to the routes. Now, again, we're going to talk about, I think this guy's a sufficient route runner at this point with lots of upside. Again, the route running is not refined. His snap down, his burst in and out of breaks, not real precise at this point, probably just at a sufficient level. I think this guy is going to be able to run a full route tree. He's going to be a short, medium, and vertical route runner. He's got very good, maybe even excellent speed. I think this guy could be a mid to low 4.3 guy. There are some vertical routes with free releases where, man, he eats up some ground. Really impressive looking. Again, this guy is going to be able to open up and run. But when you start talking about being able to snap down, to run a dig, to be able to bend a curl, to be able to get across the field and create some separation against top end NFL corners, I think this guy still telegraphs it a little bit and is just not real refined and precise. I expect that to be a big improvement from his time at Auburn to his time at Texas, where, again, in an offense where their precision is going to be the name of the game. For Sark, you got to put it in a spot. You got to be able to run these certain things. There's going to be some big windows for Arch to throw to with all the outside zone, the boot, the movement stuff. But again, the route running has to get better. I think it's sufficient at this point. I think there are certainly some good routes, but I think this guy has the ability, the athleticism, the twitch, the quick twitch, change of direction type stuff to be a very good route runner. But again, it is not there yet. But again, when you start talking about the upside, you can certainly see where this could go. I think this guy's going to end up being at least a good route runner with maybe some very good routes in there. Run after the catch. Again, we start talking about wide receiver one, Jeremiah Smith. This is where a spot where he is sufficient. Cam Coleman, I think he's just sufficient as well. Maybe a little bit twitchier, not as strong and physical as Jeremiah Smith is, but this is a get what is there. Vision to see where he needs to go, gets out of bounds, get down when he needs to. This is not going to be a break you off wiggle, not going to be highly used in the screen game, probably more hitches and getting the ball maybe out in space a little bit more. You're going to have to design some lanes for him. This isn't a guy, hey, just get it out there, let him make a move and go get vertical. Again, sufficient in this area. Still plenty, though. He's not going to be a guy where you're just really regretting taking this player because his run after the catch isn't there. He's got enough. He's going to get whatever yardage is there. And then from a blocking standpoint, hey, this is just gravy. This guy has a good willingness, good toughness, good physicality, good strength at the point of attack to make blocks. He's going to be able to work in an offense. You're going to have to account for him with that 6'3", 6'2", 6'3" frame of 200 pounds. Again, he's not going to be oversized by any even big corners. So again, he is going to be able to do everything there. So again, you start talking about all this stuff, you're talking good to very good, maybe even some excellent traits for Cam Coleman across the board. So again, a player that I really like. As we take a look at our scouting board now here, again, we're going to go ahead and drop those notes in there. this beautiful scouting board brought to you by Kyle Morgan, who, if you have interest, let me know. I'll get you connected with Kyle. He'll happily get you a board going. Again, it is something that's I'm continuing to use and do everything with I can. So again, going to get notes dropped in there. Again, I think this is going to be an elite first round type wide receiver. I think there is upside. I don't think he challenges Jeremiah Smith for that number one spot. I think he's a tier, a notch, a step above everybody else in this class, but I think this could be wide receiver too. I think there's going to be some other guys in consideration. We get through our 2027 draft prospects. We're going to throw that 1-0 elite right on there. We're going to hit save. We're going to come in here. Where's my receivers? Again, dropped in there. He's our second wide receiver, so he's wide receiver 2. We're going to stick him right there. So again, you got maybe 2 of the top wide receivers in the draft class that we have in here. Our beautiful board that we have brought to you by Kyle. Again, hit me up if you're interested in that. So again, we're going to have him in there. An elite first round type wide receiver is where I have Cam Coleman. But again, not always what I think, also about what you think. Where do you think Cam Coleman ends up? Does he have the ability to be wide receiver number 1 in this class? Can he overtake Jeremiah Smith for that number 1 spot? Let me know at RightStepADV on Twitter, or drop that comment in the notes here on YouTube. Tomorrow we jump to the defensive side. Talk Quincy Rhodes Jr. of Arkansas. Break time for the NFL team just means time for us on the outside, maybe to get a little bit ahead on our report. So we will do that with all our player profiles. We will keep an eye on all things football, and of course, we will keep scouting.